Hello everyone and welcome back to Serendipity in Quarantine. This video is continuation of the legislature video. So let's begin. So in this video we'll be seeing how does parliament control the executive. So it is not difficult for executives to exercise unlimited power without support of the majority party because they are the elected representatives. So it might lead into cabinet dictatorship where the cabinet leads the house and house merely follows. But we can stop this only if the parliament is active and vigilant. So it can keep regular and effective check on executives. So how we can achieve that? So basic control on this executive is power and freedom of the legislature as people representatives to work effectively and fearlessly. For example, parliament members have the freedom that no action can be taken against a member for any thing they say in the legislature. So this is known as the parliamentary privilege. So the presiding officer of the legislature, that can be a speaker or a chairman, has final powers in deciding the matters of breach of privilege. So this is applied to all members of the parliament. Only president does not enjoy this parliamentary privilege. So what are other instruments of parliamentary control? So parliamentary accountability can be checked by various methods. For example, deliberation and discussion, approval or refusal of law, financial control, or no confidence motion. So this was the question asked in 2017 prelims and 2018 as well. So this question can be answered through NCERT, reading NCERTs only. So we'll be seeing the first, deliberation and discussion. So as we know, parliament is a platform for debates and thorough discussion. So usually this can be done to ensure the accountability of the members through various methods like question hours, which is held every day during session of parliament, and here minister has to respond to this question. Then there is also zero hour where the members are free to raise any matter that they think is important, but here ministers are not bound to reply. Then there is also half an hour discussion of matter of public importance, the adjournment motion, etc. So these question are and these other hours are the most effective method to keep vigil on the executives and administrative agencies of the government, as they have to answer the question raised by the members. It also been observed that these hours have the maximum attendance, as this ensures that the parliamentary system is kept accountable. Then the next one is approval and ratification of law. We know that parliament is a legislature where the bills becomes law after approval of the members of parliament. But before bill becoming law, there are various steps which has to be ensured, and they are the products of intense bargaining and negotiation among the members of the ruling party or coalition parties and even the opposition. So all sides of the bill are checked before it becoming a law. Then there is financial control. As we mentioned earlier, financial resources to implement programs of the governments are granted through the budget. So the preparation and presentation of budget or approval of this budget is done by the legislature. So through this control, legislature may refuse grant resources to the government. So before granting money, Lok Sabha can discuss the reasons for which government requires the money. It can also inquire into the case of misuse of the funds, and it can also take help from Comptroller and Audit General, that is CAG, and Public Accounts Committee, so that government will be more and more accountable and transparent. So this financial control, legislature control the policies which government make. Then there is no confidence motion. This is the most powerful weapon, as it enables the parliament to ensure executive accountability, and if any ruling government has not working with the confidence in the house, then that government will be demolished. So parliament can effectively control executives and ensure more responsive government. So in last 2 decades there has been gradual decline in the session of Lok Sabha, state legislative assemblies, even on time spent on debates, and it is also plagued by absence of quorum, boycott of session by members of opposition. So these all deprive the house the power to control its executive through discussion. So there are other parts of the parliament which keep control on them. For example, committees in the parliament. So what do they do? So these committees play vital role in not merely in lawmaking but also in day-to-day businesses. They also take care of the in-depth study of any issue appointed to them. For example, studying demands for grants made for various ministry, looking into expenditure incurred by the various department, investigating cases of corruption, etc. So since 1983, India has developed system of parliamentary standing committees. So there are over 20 such departmental related committees. This standing committee supervises work of various departments, their budgets, their expenditure. Then there is joint parliamentary committee, which are occupied position of immense in our country. So this can be set up for the purpose of discussing particular bill, like joint committee to discuss issues like investigating financial irregularities, or members of this committee are selected from both houses. So there is a separate chapter regarding parliamentary committees, and this is important because this was also previously asked in prelim examination. So this committee's burden reduce the burden on the parliament. So how does the parliament regulate itself? So parliament has two houses, and each houses has presiding officer as the final authority in the matter of regulating business of the legislature. So there were some cases like defection, like walking out and abstaining from voting with respect to as party has called for. So these can be taken care through various statutory and constitutional laws. For example, you've heard about anti-defection law. So this enables legislator who is elected in the one party ticket must be restricted from defecting to another party. There was also constitutional amendment of on 1985, that was 52nd Amendment Act. So this is known as anti-defection amendment, and it was again modified in 91st amendment. So here presiding officer of the house is the authority who takes the final decision that if it is proved that member has defected, then that person will lose membership of that house. Besides such, that person is also disqualified from holding any political office like ministership. So what is defection? If a member remains absent in the house when the party asks party's leadership to remain present, or votes against the instruction of party, or voluntarily leaves the membership of the party. So these are the three types of defection. And we saw that now the bulk defection is allowed. So again there are cases of walking out in the group, and this may create instability in the legislature. So we might look into in future reform in this anti-defection law. So this was the end of the lecture on legislature. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you for watching. Bye.